I can, everyone's here, we can call this meeting to order on, what's today, the 5th of June. Cindy is not going to be here this evening, so we're going to have to manage without her, so I hope you did the minutes.
I did.
All right, public comment. You gentlemen are here for a project, I assume, right? No? Okay. We don't have any appointments, so we can jump right into the first order of business there. If you guys want to come up and sign in, please. Introduce yourselves so we know what you're, get your names for spelling and everything, and we can get going.
Here we go. My name is Jason Lopez from Keach Nordstrom Associates, and with me is Anthony Helbatsis. He is officer of Tammy J. Inc. and owner of New Hampshire Hydraulics, site that we are here to speak to you about tonight. Property we're here to talk about is Columbia Circle, map 4D3, lot 25 and 26. So the two properties we're here to talk about, separated currently is two separate lots. We have lot 25, 1.6 acres, lot 26, about 1.7, each 200 feet of frontage. Have an existing structure out there, which he operates New Hampshire Hydraulics out of. Existing building, 10,200 square feet. He's got an area out back that's paved. Location-wise, everyone familiar where this property is? Route 3? Okay. So he's got a section that's, paved out back, and he's got a lot of storage racks in the rear. Now, little history of what they do is they service all things hydraulics. Pumps, motors, the cylinders, valves, hammers. So equipment is brought in. They have a pickup and delivery service, so they'll go out to a site, remove parts that need maintenance or repair, bring it back to the property, maintain them. Some people drop their equipment off that needs to be maintained. They service, so stuff comes in. Their service shop, office, and internal storage currently in this building. They've grown. Over the years, they've grown quite a bit. They need more, a little more site organization, a little more storage. They're looking for indoor storage and to organize the workflow and the work path through the property. This project, a little history. This was back before the planning board and the commission. Back in 2000, Keach Nordstrom Associates had brought through a variance and a site plan that was conditionally approved. It was never brought to fruition and got the final signatures on the plans. But through that process, they were looking at that point to expand an addition onto the side of the building, about 18,100 square feet, with the parking and all the site amenities with that. Again, they never received the final sign-off on the Mylars, so that plan still sits today. Not built. What the commission here is interested in is this is all located within the industrial zoning district in the elderly housing, the elderly overlay district, and also the aquifer. So it's the aquifer protection overlay district is the key point of interest, I believe, with the commission here. With that, the function of the site today, we're currently tied into city municipal water and sewer. Drainage, I know will be a concern. Drainage, we've got a lot of this area on lot 25 has been cleared. It's compacted gravel. There's some storage and outdoor storage and stuff in that area now. We have the paved area with some outdoor racking. That area all sheets out back. We got some gravel. That area all sheets out back, and there's an existing oil grit separator system, and then all the stormwater will pass through that and into an infiltration pond in the back corner. Small portion of the site up in the front here does run off, and there's a couple catch basins out in the road that would receive a little bit of stormwater runoff from those areas. Back during the 2000 approval process, there was a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan that was put together for the property and formalized, and they've been utilizing that plan since. That plan is being referenced on our new plan set to, again, just solidify that that is to maintain in effect, in use, and we've documented that the spill kits, they need to go through and make sure that they're all up to snuff and operational and ready for use. To get into the construction, they'll have a little bit of removals. We have some existing impervious. They'll need to take out some concrete pads in areas on the side of the building. And we're gonna remove a portion of the existing pavement out back. No changes other than striping out in the front area that runs off the property. All the changes are gonna be occurring in areas that sheet flow out to the back corner of the property. So again, we have a 10,100 square foot, 200 square foot existing building, and we're proposing a 9,600 square foot addition on the end. Currently, the existing paved area, we're going to expand the paved area in the back of the new addition. Site flow is one of the biggest issues that he's had on the site, organization of material. You know, equipment comes in for maintenance, needs to be maintained, and then it needs to leave the site. And right now, limited space, disorganization can happen. So their thought process is to put the addition on with an indoor and an outdoor. Product comes in, whether delivered or through their pickup service, can come around, head in the indoor racking, storage. They can log the stuff in, and then it can make its way in through the repair shop, circulate itself back out over into this area to other racking near an outdoor. So they want to get everything in undercover, and they want to perfect that workflow pattern. It's going to help both the site aesthetics, picking up the site, and the organization of product coming in and out for, you know, better service to the customers. We are looking to have a area out back here continue to be packed gravel. Then we'll introduce a grass strip, and we've got expanded stormwater to the rear. So with the stormwater, we're looking at the building. We're going for a variance. The building, we're going to try to match the front line of the building. Will be over 1.5 feet or so over the setback. Roof's pitched to the front towards Columbia and back.
I was curious about the setback. Is the setback on the front or the side?
The setback along the front.
So the existing building is already a foot. Okay,
correct.
Right.
The existing building was built back when the zoning was 30-foot setbacks.
Okay.
Now it's 50 foot.
Right.
So just the structural aspect, foundation design, column lines and all that, trying to keep all that in line,
Yep.
kind of forces that front facade to be over the setback line. So we're gonna deal with the zoning board, yeah.
No, I wasn't clear if it was the front or the side. I was just
Yeah,
curious
yeah,
which
this,
way it's
the
going.
front.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
this roof is gonna sheet to the front towards Columbia and to the back, towards the paved area. What we've done is the grade slopes down off Columbia towards the building. We'll introduce a swale here. We're gonna put some yard drains, capture that into a closed system periodically along that swale. We're gonna have a catch basin installed at the corner of the building. We'll put roof drain, they don't want the water coming off into this apron where they're entering the building. So we'll pick everything up with a catch basin to another catch basin. We're gonna outlet up this area to a little bit of a grass swale before we enter a head wall, closed pipe to an infiltration basin. Along this edge of the pavement, we're gonna put in some slope bituminous curbing to keep essentially the work zone separated from this off-site flow. So the current design, all the water just kind of sheets off this hill, across the gravel, everything goes through that oil grit separator and out into the pond. The pond's a lot smaller, and the oil grit's taking a lot of extra flow. So I thought it would be wise to introduce this swale and create a little bit of a berm here in the slope berm. Let's separate this water coming off the hill where it's, lack of a better term, clean.
Yeah.
Let's capture that and let's run that into the infiltration pond. In this area with the work zone, let's just isolate that and capture this, sheet it back, introduce a swale here to force it back to the oil grit separator. That minimizes the amount of flow heading into that system, reduces the turbulence, reduces the pass-through, should help with better, cleaning, separation of the oils and the grits. They have a maintenance plan on that existing system now.
You mentioned some type of curb to capture
Yep.
that. What did you call
So
it?
it's just slope bituminous curb. So it's about a foot wide, 4 inches high in the back, and it's just going to pitch towards the pavement.
Okay.
Keep the water from the pavement from running into this swale.
Gotcha.
I
It's
won't.
just a term we haven't heard before, but it's probably something we've seen 1,000 times.
Yeah,
It's a-
very
asphalt
common.
That's an asphalt.
Asphalt curb, asphalt pavement curb. Yeah, okay, pavement
I
curb.
get that.
Okay.
I'm picking up what
Sorry.
you're putting down.
So so we've tried to really isolate that area and just create a little bit of a stronger design for that oil grit separator. Then we did eliminate some of that pavement out in this back area. We eliminated some of this impervious, but now we're covering it back up. So there was a slight increase in the impervious. We're trying to introduce in this back area a little more grass. Net, slight increase in the impervious area, but I wanted to create a little more storage in the detention pond, the infiltration pond. So we upsized that pond size. Over, call it about 1.5 times the size of what it is today. And then the plan is to line the bottom of it. Spoke to the contractor that will be doing the work. He really wants to just line the bottom of it with wood chips and stuff that can be maintained in the future, dug out if they need to be, and then replaced. We do have, this is what I was talking about, landscape plan. We're going to be doing some landscaping across the frontage of the property. That matches the 2000 plan that was approved by the planning board. And we're going to try to introduce a little more grass to the rear out by the pond. And then the last sheet is we have an erosion sediment control plan that we'll have in place. In this project, is disturbing over an acre, so it will be required to file a notice of intent and have a stormwater prevention pollution plan in place during construction. It is under the threshold for alteration of terrain. I guess at that, I won't bore you with too many more details. I think I covered the main points. I'll let you ask questions if you have any.
Yeah, you get them circled too, huh?
Yeah, so, sheet 5.
Your landscape plan.
Yeah, the top plant list, you're gonna have to reevaluate that list.
Okay.
Because you got one that pops out really quickly, and that's burning bush, that's no longer allowed to be planted. So,
And the same with that Norway maple is that's
Yeah.
an invasive species locally.
yeah. So, we strongly suggest wherever possible, now I know there's aesthetics involved, is to use as most native plants that you can find, or the best array of native plants, if at all possible. So I realize it's in the front of the building, and a lot of the natives tend to grow really tall, but yeah, you should reevaluate your list.
All right. We have a landscape architect on staff, so I'll have her. I didn't have her take a look at it. I just
Yeah.
verbatim what the 2000 approval was, so I'll have her take a look at that and update that.
Yeah, so
Wow. 2000 they were approving burning
Yep.
bush.
yeah, exactly.
Have
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it?
I'm not, no.
Yeah.
No.
They're actually illegal to plant now.
Yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We
It's
I got
actually
them all in
illegal.
my
to
yard.
Well, no, it's new ones.
They're sprouting too.
Oh yeah, they do. That's the problem.
That's the problem, right? We've got some areas on our conservation land, like acres of burning bush, because we can't get rid of it. And the stalks on these bushes are this big and even bigger. They've been in there so
What I got
long.
at my house,
They're
yeah.
huge. And,
Okay.
and
They're beautiful, but-
yeah. In the fall, it turns bright red. It's a great thing to see. But
Yeah.
but
Okay. Yeah, we can revise that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's a hay somewhere.
You also have, on the very last page, you've got, under your erosion control notes, item 5. It says baled hay. We try to use,
Straw.
we use straw everywhere. And, you've got it listed there, and you've got it down lower again in the turf establishment schedule, and then item 2. Seating specification, item 2, sorry.
yeah.
Please.
10.
One thing I did not see was any references to fertilizer.
No, I just haven't spec'd out anything per se on that.
Particularly for the fact that it's in the Aquifer Protection District. No phosphates, slow release nitrogen. And,
I was alerted to those comments were coming. Yes.
yeah. That's a big deal to us, so.
Yes, especially so close to Horseshoe Pond, where they've had issues with the phosphates in the water causing different color blooms to come up in the summertime. So
Again, very pretty, but.
yeah, yeah.
Also on page 9, down at the
Deadly.
bottom, you have a 25% wildflower mix,
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah.
there are
Good
some
one.
invasive species and wildflowers now too. So you see, you can tell I was traumatized by that Cheerio giveaway. Forget-me-nots.
Yeah, flowers that used to be approved in the past are not approved anymore. It even varies by state,
Yeah.
so. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay. I'm new, so there might be some really elementary questions that I would ask. You were using the two words oil and brick.
Grit, sand, oil and grit. So, you know,
Now, would they be coming down off the hill, or
no,
they wouldn't be generated within the building?
Well, his site, they maintain and repair hydraulic equipment with
Yes.
hydraulic fluid, oils and fluids like that. So if there was a spill or something on site, you'd then have oils that would be introduced, mixed with the storm water, run off into the pond. So one, they have that spill prevention plan, and there's a procedure that they need to follow if there's a spill to clean it up. And then, if there's residue and stuff like that, there's still potential for some of that to be carried in stormwater. So that's why we've tried to introduce a little bit of this grass strip. Grass help filters it.
Oh, yeah.
Evaporation can help with the oils, the hydraulic fluids. But then we run all that water, we capture it into a swell and put it into a catch basin, a big underground concrete structure. And the water, call it oil-laden water, I mean, that we're trying to prevent that before it gets to that point. But if it was to get into the structure is designed with a deep sump. Oils will attach themselves to particles, sands, fines, wood chips, stuff like that. Right? So what we're looking to do is put a sump in this catch basin to capture the sediments, which would have the oil attached to it, and also any floating oil. There's a special cover over the outlet pipe, so the water, when oil gets into water, it rises to the top.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that oil will float at the top in the structure, and this cover we put on the outlet of the pipe will prevent that oil from going out into the detention pond. And their maintenance program has a company that comes in and they suck that material out to pull the oil out. They also float these logs. Essentially, they're big pads that will soak up oil, and they float those down in the structure itself, and they absorb the oil. So
Are they always there, or are they introduced only?
no, they're always there, and they're replaced on the maintenance schedule.
Oh, yeah.
When they maintain the structure and they pump the structure out, they'll replace call them the logs if they need replacement.
And normally, under regular operation, what happens to the water in a catch basin?
The water will flow in,
Yeah.
and standard catch basins, like many road catch basins, there's nothing over the pipe, so the water flows down and out. So it'll flow to some sort of outlet, whether it goes to a wetland, a roadside, daylight out to the surface somewhere, or to a pond or stream, river, wherever it outlets to. So the catch basins and the pipes will carry that storm water out somewhere. So we do have a detail. Where did it go? Oh, maybe I didn't put it in here because it's existing. No, I don't. I don't have it in there. I thought I had a copy of it. But then right after that catch basin, that first catch basin, which is your primary capture, then there's a larger concrete rectangular tank. Mm-hmm. And that has more storage, and it has baffles in it. And again, further, it slows down the water. It allows for that separation of the oil to rise to the top, the grits to settle down. Mm-hmm. It'll flow through that system and then spill out into the infiltration pond. So by the time it goes through your grass, your catch basin separator, and then your larger oil grit separator, before it gets to the pond, you've got these three mechanisms in place to try to, if something gets through, it'll be captured in that part of the system. And then it goes out into that pond, and then in that pond, it's a very sandy material, the aquifer district, and then the water just infiltrates into the ground. So the idea is to make this system operate the best we can to keep the oil from entering into the groundwater and absorbing into the ground and into the aquifer.
Yep, good, very good. I see that the lot is quite large.
Yeah, in all, about 3.3 acres, the combined of the two lots, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty much covered all my thoughts. I like the addition of the side catch
Not coming
and
down that
directing the
hill.
water off and keeping it from sheet flowing across.
Separating the two.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea, yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't have any. When you guys going in front of the planning board again?
hoping
Ho-
the 20th.
3 weeks away? I'm not sure what the date is.
The next meeting.
Yeah, not tomorrow night, the
Not tomorrow
following,
night, the following one.
the following meeting.
Right.
That's the hopes. We haven't heard back yet for scheduling. So the idea, looking for, do you have standard notes for fertilizer that you'd like to see on the plan, or particulars on,
Just the no, particularly in this, where you are,
Yeah.
is the no phosphates and slow release nitrogen.
okay.
And that's really our heavy hitters.
Yeah.
We recommend, obviously, you're probably gonna be bringing in soil, or,
Not a whole lot.
okay.
We're actually gonna be digging out a corner in the back.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't generate,
I'm just saying, we recommend folks to have the soil tested. It's a relatively inexpensive test, and it's cheaper than fertilizer. So if your soil has everything it needs to grow, plant, why add the fertilizer at all? So
Okay.
it's a simple, you can do it right up at UNH, the cooperative extension, so.
and we will correct the planting species.
And the hay, please. That's every Tuesday. Do they meet every Tuesday, every other Tuesday? Don't they? Every other Tuesday.
Every other.
Yeah, that's the 20. So that's the 20th. And so we'll get a letter together. We'll get a letter together and sent to the planning board before you go.
All right.
Great.
Thank you
guys.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thanks for your work, too.
Thanks.
Thanks, good luck.
Alright. So, we don't see our next,
Sure.
our next attendee is not here. I can give you guys a brief background on what was going on. We had, the Greater Woods Subcom at our last meeting. Mason Landry, was a Eagle Scout candidate, and he came before us, and his project, he'd like to rebuild the outdoor classroom. And I don't know if anyone's been up there recently to see what a disaster it is, but it is that classified as being it's a disaster. I mean, those logs are 15 plus years old, and they're now into bike ramps and whatever the kids want them to be. So they're using it, I guess, on the happy side. But he's got a good plan to do it. It was met. I felt was met with very good, a lot of happiness on our part that it's going to be completed again. So unfortunately, he's not here to give us the demonstration but I don't know if he's going to go. He's supposed to be going in front of the town council also, but I think he's going to have to wait now because I think he's supposed to come to us first, I believe.
Typically, as the management body,
Yeah.
scouts would come to us first.
So because it is property that we quasi manage, but it is really town property. That's right next to the school. So
Has he gotten feedback from the school as well? To see if they have any special requests, given that they've already, since they've lived through it once?
I don't know. I can't say he has or not. He's working with Nat Fairbanks is the what's his, is he the vice chair? Yeah, he's vice chair of the subcom. So
I took a look at it on election day and walked over, take a break, and it's a mess.
yes, yeah, it is. And it was
Really surprised.
it was fine for a while, and the first time one bench was broken, and then it just all hell broke loose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's time.
Yeah.
It needs to be taken apart and redone. So he is in receipt of all the pictures that we have of the original, when it was done originally, and it looked great then.
Yeah, I
know,
did
so-
see it then, too, yeah.
But I'll check up with Nat and find out what's going on, when we're going to expect to see him. So, all right. Moving on. If anyone's got any questions about that, no. Okay. I was a little late, obviously, but I sent it out. You guys this is all stuff that I think pretty much everyone has already. There's stuff that we've talked about, certainly, and gone on walks and seen. And this is the Summit Trail at Horse Hill. There's a section of it right now. It's an old logging road that goes straight up the hill to the summit of that little trail there. It's badly eroded and washing silts and fines down into the into the trail and then into the leaf litter on the side, on the east side. We've had 2 trails marked that bypass that lower section, and if you on one of the sheets I sent out today, there's a you can see this. You can see. Did you guys all get that sheets? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll print
No,
it
we
out.
can pass it around if you want. I don't know if everyone's looked at it and
I'm
seen
gonna
it.
fire up my computer. Is that gonna help or not?
And if you want, that will work. I'd rather have more people look at this than not.
Yeah.
Are you receiving emails?
No.
Not yet, no? Okay. Let me take care of that. Obviously not. I sent things to your email directly, and I'm getting a bounce from.
Somehow it does bounce back, and, I got one from one of you, but it might have been into my personal email, which is great. I would just
No.
assume,
No, I'm not gonna send that to your personal.
you
I'm
know,
not gonna send this stuff to your personal email.
okay.
I'll send you bad jokes.
It's-
or something like that.
It's. Yeah, I'm not sure you want town business going to your personal email, because if that someone sends you something that needs to get subpoenaed or looked at, they'll subpoena your computer and take your email system away from you. Have you thought about that?
No, because I don't think that's a big consideration on my
Well,
part.
you might lose your computer for a while.
I think the chance of that happening for someone that is around that.
Okay.
I understand you.
Okay, yep, yep.
Ooh, that's maybe a little too much, huh? How's that? Is that better?
It'll take a second.
So just as you can see when it comes up, we have 2 trail options. We have the existing trail. We have a trail option that's to the west, and we have a trail option that's to the east. We've walked both. We've had a number of people walk both. We've had a professional wildlife ecologist look at them both, and now it's just time to kind of make a decision which one we're going to go. And there are some other issues in there. The master plan for Horse Hill does specify that trail is a multi-use trail, but unfortunately, the height and the rise and the run of that trail is such that to make it a multi-use trail, that for snowmobiles and things like that, the amount of space it needs, we just don't have it in that location. And I would think finding another path to get up there for multi-use may require changing some of the designations for some of the other trails, but that would be, to me, a better plan. Yeah, we're gonna need to lighten that up a lot.
Yeah, go away. Lighten it up.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
If I turn the light out, it will probably look a lot
No.
lighter.
There's. No, try that.
It's kind of a PDF in the.
It's a. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Chris is gonna be mad at us now. Can you bring up that other PDF too?
Yeah.
Can you bring both of them up? Because it's, I put some lines on there so people could see.
Okay, so is that this one? Or
I think that's it. Yeah. So because of the scale difference on the
hold
two,
on. Sorry.
Hey,
Good.
look, in the right side, you connected.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they open in the same
Yeah,
application? Or
yeah, they are. I can pull one off though if you want.
Well, just see if we can open them up side by each, so people can see the 2 trails. I made some marks on this one, so because of the scale difference, so you can see where they
Nope. No, that didn't help.
are. That's the GPS location, that's the
Yeah.
GP.
So which one do you want?
I just want, yeah, those two, that's perfect.
Okay.
And,
Let me. All right.
you can see.
So realize the scale is very
The
different.
scale's
though.
very different, so I'm just trying to, so you have an idea of where they are in this trail. This blue line is the original existing trail, and that same blue line is, on this one is a red line. These three lines going across right here are extensions of about these three lines going here, so you can see this difference in scale. So this red trail there's a trail planned on this side, or there's a trail planned on this side of it. And that's the two options. Well, three options is, a third is we close the trail altogether. But historically, we've had such poor luck trying to close a trail, I just don't believe we'd ever have any luck trying to close this one.
Where's the Heron Rookery?
So, the Heron Rookery, if you, can you,
Few of them.
What's
you want
that?
to try to bring that one up?
Well,
Is it-
can you
is
just
it
kind of point
visible?
on that map so I can see it in
The
relation?
Heron Rookery is, so where these are the power lines
Okay,
coming across, so the Heron Rookery is over here.
all right.
Right. Yeah. In fact, it'd be off the page on this one.
So the yellow one is not anywhere near the Heron Rookery,
The yellow. It's opposite. Of them.
opposite direction.
It's opposite. This is the original trail, the red one,
Right,
and this is the east side.
Well,
This is the original trail on this one, and the new proposed trail is on the west side.
but that's not shown?
But this,
Not shown on the one on the right.
can you see it?
you
No,
see-
they're
you
not
see-
together.
Can you see this black line right here?
Yeah,
That's the proposed trail that's on the west side.
okay,
Now, so take these three lines, and those three lines, and that's the trail section. Those three lines are these three lines.
Right there.
So it's about that part of the trail, that black piece is right here. So
okay.
the only thing we're discussing, this part of the trail is fine.
Let me see if I can make it a little bigger.
This part of the trail is what we're discussing.
Does that help?
Yeah, sure.
Makes it a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
This part of the trail is about where all we're discussing, is this section right here. So do we come up the existing and go around, or do we come up the existing or start a new one and come up here? I mean, even this section down here, it's wet, we know it's wet, we have some other work to do down here, but that doesn't impact, this section right here is where we're having our question.
So either way, you're gonna be,
Let me try.
wasn't the argument that you needed to stay more than 500 feet away from the Heron Rookery? Wasn't it 300 feet? So either way, you're gonna be 300 feet away or
Either way,
better.
we're more than 600 feet away.
So then the Heron Rookery should not be a problem at all then?
Shouldn't be.
Okay, shouldn't be. All right, so we can just take that out of the equation right now because it's not gonna be a problem.
Well, I don't want to take it out of the equation. I mean, it is an important part of this. It's an important part of why we're having this discussion.
Right, but it's not gonna be within the amount that is a problem. So we can go either way and it's not going to disturb the Heron Rookery.
No, the trail, the Heron Rookery is so much more closer to the power lines and the work and the activity on the power lines is far closer there than anything we're doing.
Wow, okay, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And, and my personal thought, I mean, this is my opinion on this, is I can,
And people should know there's no motorized on these trails.
there's not supposed to be any motorized in these
Well,
trails, that's true.
And that,
There
except for the
is.
winter,
Yeah.
right. Which the herons are not there in the winter.
That's true. That trail is supposed to be closed down during the nesting season, and it has not. I don't believe it's been closed down for the last couple of years. It's just not been posted.
However, if there's a trail large enough for a motorized vehicle there,
Right now, the blue trail or the red trail, whichever one you look at, is large enough to support the snowmobile, which is multi-use. That's what it gets, the multi-use trail. But the climb if you looked at a topo map of this, the climb from where the lines intersect, the trails intersect, to the top of that trail is so steep.
Yeah, it's pretty steep.
The amount of the amount of space you'd need to have a turn flat enough to support, a snowmobile or something like that. It's going to be I don't think we'd have the room in that. I don't think we'd have the room in that area to make that trail. Can you make the big one a little bit
This
smaller?
one?
Yeah, so we can look at the whole thing.
Just to put people's minds at ease, as I mentioned earlier, just to compare this to the drilled rock trail when there used to be heron rookeries on that pond next to the drilled rock trail. The drilled rock trail in Greater Woods was much closer than these trails. That was just a foot traffic trail or mountain bike, and hadn't, it really did not impact the herons at that when they were there, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if it was within 300 feet, I would be like Cindy. I would be the first one screaming
Yeah.
about
No.
Yeah, I
save
mean,
the herons,
if you-
but
yeah,
Can I turn the light back on? You guys,
yes, and the
There's
heron definitely a concern.
right.
just so you know, and it's a good point to bring up. So, actually, Tim, can you find that one? Might as well bring that up if you could, because I think that puts into scope a little better, I think, than me explaining it. It would be.
That's verbiage, okay, it's the
I
wrong
believe
one.
that's the proximity. I think it says proximity in the title, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, that one. That's.
Whoops. All right, I'm fighting.
Yeah. You can close all the rest of them. I don't think we need them up.
So which one did it put it on?
The one is proximity.
Try that again.
So, you saw. That's still the original blue trail.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep,
Just,
okay, that's still the original blue trail.
Mhm.
That's the black. That's the proposed trail on the west side.
Yeah.
This is the Beaver Dam, the big beaver hut,
Okay.
which is right down here, and it's 900 and something feet. There's a little marker on the bottom that shows how many feet it is. This is the first, and again, this is me on, Google Maps, and and that was about the first tree that's got a heron, that I thought had a heron nest in it. And from that section where the trail joins back up, we're 618 feet,
Okay.
and behind a rise. So you can't, even at that point, you can't see. You have to kind of walk up off the trail, back up into this high point here, so you can see over it to see that.
Okay.
Rookery. So, but your power lines are down here. So they're much closer to that. And that's the Stoka Pond. So you can see the power lines here are obviously much closer than we are.
yeah, you can now
So
see
you can
it.
see, that's a trail that's big enough that you can see from Google Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Loop Trail, this is Loop Trail.
So Loop Trail is pretty much the same distance.
It's closer.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
a little closer.
All right.
It's closer.
All right.
As I said, we've had Jeff Littleton from Moosewood Ecological did go down, and he's looked at both.
Is this the pond that has the osprey nest?
Yes.
That's by the 909 foot. It's the closest nest to the beaver.
So
we've had Jeff, from Moosewood Ecological. Jeff went down and looked at both trails. He didn't feel the western trail would add any additional impact to whatever human pressure is already there. And he said the same with the east side. He said that, impact-wise to the heron rookery, he doesn't feel there's any. His only comment to the trail on the east was he said it's obviously a little wetter. He said you may have to, during certain times of the year or long-term, if the trail gets a lot of use, you may end up having to bridge some areas.
Is that the zigzag one or
That's
the
the one,
straight one?
that would be the one on the east side,
The yellow?
the yellow one.
All right.
Yeah.
So then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
Well, I was just gonna add, now, Matt, you said something about it was the closest one to the beavers, the osprey nest.
Yes.
Is there any significance to that, or just to locate it?
Just to
They-
locate it.
They live happily together.
Well, historically, it had been a heron nest,
Okay.
and it was taken over by an osprey last year, which is extremely odd. And our ecologist commented that he's seen it before. It's very rare, but to see herons with their long necks sticking up in 7 nests, and then in another nest to see a bunch of osprey peeking over the nest was really a sight.
I didn't even know osprey were away from salt water. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was really something to see, and there's a lot of great pictures of it. So
Right.
So this, to me, this vote has encompasses a couple different decisions. One is the physical trail, where it goes, but we do now have to discuss if that, regardless of which trail we do, because neither one of them is really designed to, initially going to be wide enough to support the multi-use that it originally supported in the fashion now that we're trying to close. So that needs to be discussed. I think probably would start best to start with Horse Hill Subcommittee and see if they can find a path around to get another multi-use trail to that point. Because that's really the 2 points. But post 14, was that 14?
15.
15, well, no, but the ones, what's the down below?
Yeah,
So
14.
is that
14 and
is that a
15.
requirement that there has to be a path wide for the snowmobile?
It's in the master plan.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that, we should try to stick to it.
Mhm.
That was what the whole concept of the master plan is.
The issue going north to south is because Rocky Trail is so rocky and unusable, it's the only trail in the middle of the property that will take you north to south. If not, you have to kind of go around the edges to get there. So that trail is important bisection,
Mm-hmm.
at least on that side of Long Pond. The opposite side of Long Pond, we have trail systems, but not on that, not on the east side of Long Pond,
Yeah.
except all the way over by Palmieri. So.
Does Horse Hill, what was in the master plan again, please? The multi-use vehicles to be accommodated?
The multi-use trail.
Multi-
And it specified horses, it specified snowmobiles, and there was,
Motorized vehicles?
no, not motorized.
So they're
Well,
in-
There's
obviously a snowmobile's motorized, but it wasn't, no ATV traffic, no dirt bikes. It was,
Ever, anywhere on it?
snowmobiles are granted a certain leniency because typically they're on the snow, they're not on the ground.
Yeah.
So they're not really impacting the surface. I've seen plenty of sleds going across mud, and so,
Yeah,
but that's atypical.
yeah. But Greater Woods has some motorized vehicles other than snowmobiles?
Yes.
Is that right?
Or it has trails,
And is allowed,
right.
other than dirt bikes,
Yes.
larger
Yeah,
ones?
it's motorized. It's not vehicles, but dirt bikes, ATVs.
Four-wheelers?
Right, dirt bikes, ATVs, but not trucks and jeeps.
So the last time, at the last meeting, Cindy said that not everyone from the Horse Hill Subcommittee had had a chance to walk it, to walk the trails and give some feedback. That's the last that I remembered.
So we've been discussing this for more than a year.
Okay, but at this point now, are we here to make a decision tonight?
I am.
Okay. Okay,
I'm ready to, at least.
all right.
Maybe just a quick 2 cents about trail construction, how one path is preferred over the other. like the one's wet, right? The old, the east trail is wetter than the west trail?
The eastern side is down, the eastern side is lower than the existing trail now.
Right.
The
And
western, the
new-
west, just in that section.
The new trail, the western trail, black proposed trail,
Mm-hmm.
would be higher and drier.
Yes. It is now.
Are you saying the western one is the one to the left?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one on the west side.
Honestly, I mean, and I haven't walked it, and quite honestly, I mean, you know me, I'm not like, super hiker, but if I was looking at a trail map and I saw the one on the right, I'd take a
Well,
different trail.
Okay, but remember, we're only. I just want to make sure this is really clear to everybody. We're only looking at one. God, these lights are a pain in the neck.
Well, are we? That's a good question.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're.
So the committee asked for the yellow trail.
Right, and everyone's, so far, we've talked about it, everyone's been happy with this section of it.
Of the yellow trail?
Yeah, there's obviously some layout changes that, we make the curve a little bit wider or make it.
So where would we bring the yellow trail and the other alternative together?
Once this is the proposed side, once it comes up and comes across, that's, that point is right about here. It comes up and meets back up here.
Okay.
Where that little
This
Got
is,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
these three lines are these three. So this section right here is about the only place that's really caused any conflict.
So, right. So that
Once
would be
this comes across the
bypassed.
trail, it kind of comes across and meets up right about here.
So that section would be bypassed and closed if the
Right.
western trail was built.
Right, so the trail now would kind of come around here and meet back up here, and then work its way back to the top.
So I went out and spent a couple hours out on Friday. I agree that the eastern side, where the horizontal lines are going through that you marked, is certainly wet. There's certainly signs of wetlands. There is stained leaves, which are an indication of standing water. Those leaves don't turn brown and black if they're not sitting in water for a long period of time. It was certainly wet out there. There's water running down Rocky Trail right now because there's a dam that hasn't been breached in a while, which I did breach
Yep.
before I left the area, just to try and relieve some of the pressure.
When did you do this?
Friday morning.
Because Peter was just out there the other day too.
Yeah, I'm sure. You have to
So,
because they're
yeah.
active. So I agree that it's really wet there, and I agree that the trail now proposed closer to Long Pond gets you out of the wet. My concern is the multi-use aspect of it.
Yeah.
If we're looking at combining the two philosophies and going to the high side or what we're calling the west side of the existing trail where it's most wet, I think that's a good alternative. I just think we need to look at the exact placement to try and accommodate as many uses as possible through there. Because right now, if you walk the trail that's in black or the one that's on the west side, you can see that it's a single track trail at this point. It has been used. It does show that there's been some traffic over, not a lot, but where some of the placement is, lets you avoid and go around trees or go through trees, we probably need to shift the trail a few feet one way or another to give us the wideness that would be required to support something a little bit wider than a bicycle or a single person walking through the trail. With the hope when we did the master plan and definitive plan, back 15 years ago, the idea was to keep that as wide enough as possible to support multi-use because Rocky Trail was bad then, it's worse now, and it is the only trail that lets you go north to south through there. So that's my only thought is I think that's a much better alternative than the wet, because the wet is wet for a long time because it's still very wet in some places. And all that happens when you have a big puddle in the middle of a trail, everyone goes around it. Now the trail gets wider, it's 5 feet wide, now it's 10 feet wide, now it's 15 feet wide. Because the more walking you go around it, the more disruption you have, the more opportunity for a pool to create, and it just gets worse. So the only other alternative we would have is to create a footbridge set up through there, along with culverts and piping to keep the water out of it, and that would become very expensive as well as being difficult to do out there because access is a problem. It's not like you can drive a truck out there with a bunch of equipment in it and material and just fix it. You have to hike it all in for at least a mile. So I don't have any opposition to the trail as proposed. When you think about joining the yellow and the black, I just think we need to spend a little more time on site thinking about how we could best accommodate the most uses as possible.
Yep.
And we probably won't have a perfect solution, but it'll be better than what's out there, because you're right, the higher part of that trail is very rocky, very steep, and you got all kinds of water running down through it if we don't fix it. That's the part closest to post 15, and then going up.
Right.
So
This is to what, Tim?
post 15, yeah. So
Down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, I see.
yeah. So
This is the, no, not, this is
that's not the summit, but
That's not the summit,
that's
but
pretty high,
that's pretty high.
and it flows downhill as you go up the screen.
Right when you,
Okay.
That's
get into this
downhill.
part, it's really steep and has been very badly eroded, so there's a lot of, rock face, on the trail.
So
Tell me again, please, what we need to accommodate in a
So-
mixed use,
so we're talking horses, bicycle, snowmobile, walkers, snowshoers, what do they call that, skiing? Cross-country skiing. That was the most intent. I think we can probably find it in the plan. So now, where it gets difficult is when you have a tight turn, it's difficult on a cross-country ski to adjust your situation, but it can even be worse on a snowmobile to adjust your situation. So you need to create some roundness to things like that. So, if possible, we might find going out there that there's not a lot of options, but if we're going to replace the trail, then that's something we ought to do. We could always shut the thing down, but then that introduces all kinds of problems. So
Yeah, we've not had good luck shutting a trail down,
no,
really,
No.
ever.
So
Imagine.
why does the subcommittee prefer the one to the east over the west? Because you guys said that they prefer one over the other.
I think that's a discussion that the subcommittee would probably rehash.
Okay, so you
Because
think that,
the vote that they took was not unanimous,
okay,
and it was certainly not without some contention.
okay. So it's rounding up to us and we get to make
Right.
the decision, okay. All right. And are you guys pretty much unanimous on your decisions? Because again, I mean, I haven't seen it, and I'm not super hiker. I'm really good proofreading, but that's my claim to fame, so.
I feel that from what Tim just discussed, that I'm very much in line with what he has said. I'm concerned about the multi-use, but having walked it, it's very steep. And trying to, you're not going to be able to make these long sweeping turns on a steep incline like that.
Okay, and this is all in line with what Jeff Littleton?
And we had him assess more of the environment,
Okay,
not the trail. And his first choice would be to the west side. The east side, he said he didn't, as far as the environment goes, the impact to the heron rookery was what the focus was.
all right.
And either side of them doesn't really have,
Yeah.
it's negligible difference to him. He thought there wasn't going to be any difference. So his comment to the east side was that it's definitely wetter. He said you'll have to build more bridges or something over time, but
And Matt wants to go with the one on the east?
West.
West?
West.
West.
The
You want to go
black
with the one on the west?
over the yellow.
All right.
Okay.
And you want to go with the one on the west?
The western one, I believe.
we could just vote if you want to
I
know.
was going to say, do you want me to make a motion?
Absolutely. If you'd like to, go ahead. I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, because that way I'm the bad guy, nobody can get mad at me. Because they don't know me. All right, so I make a motion that the Merrimack Conservation Commission approves the Western Trail in lieu of the, what is it, Rocky?
Summit.
Summit?
That's the Summit Hill Trail.
Okay.
Trail.
The Western Trail instead of the Summit Trail.
I'll second it.
Any comments or discussions?
yeah, just for clarification, we're talking about just that section between the lines, and then we'll join. Then our intent is to join back into the proposed yellow trail to eliminate the other issues we have here.
Yes.
Right, so it looks like about,
This takes care of water, and then this takes care of steepness and erosion.
so it
Okay.
looks like the
Okay.
northern half of that trail is being rerouted.
Right.
Yes. Well, the whole trail's being rerouted.
So we're combining the best of both, you might say.
Okay, that sounds like an excellent idea, and if anybody has a problem with it, then they can be mad at me.
And again, and just for clarification, that obviously that trail still at its beginning, at its origin, is still having a wet
Yeah.
issue that we need to address. And the multi-use trail is something that we do have to keep in mind when we try to lay that out.
He's talking about up here, or in this map up here, there's still some water and wetness issues up here that are not the same as these ones that we'll have to deal with at some point. But both options have that problem.
Okay, well, I think it's a great solution. I mean, it does seem like it's the best of both worlds, so. And like I said, if people don't like it, then they can yell at me.
Okay. Well, we have a motion that's been seconded. Everyone in favor of the motion? Aye. Motion passes 6-0-0. And that has been put to bed. Thank you. We will, I'll let Cindy know. She can bring back to the subcom, and we can start making some plans to forward on that. Okay, you had, Tim, something else you wanted to bring up.
I've got a few,
The map issue.
got a few different things, yeah.
Yeah. Did they fit into old business?
Or
Even though it's not posted, or you wanna,
old,
other business?
or it really doesn't matter, you decide where you want me to join. Is now the time? So
I
one
figured
thing.
I had the computer up if you
Yeah.
need to show anything.
So we all got an email from Sarah at NRPC to say that our maps are ready. And I just sent out a quick email that says, let's not go distributing them until we've all had a chance to take a peek. Did you folks get a chance to look at any of that?
I don't get it.
Okay. So for background, Jackie, we contracted with the NRPC to update our trail maps for Horse Hill, Greater Woods, Wildcat Falls,
What a wonderful
and
job.
Wasserman. We wanted to have a common theme, so they all look the same in approach and how they were laid out. We went back and forth, and over many months they put it together. They've given us maps that can be printed and left at trailheads, that can be downloaded, as well as they've given us the GIS information for it, or GPS information. So if you wanted to load it into your phone, you could, or your GPS, you could have it that way as well. So which one did you give her?
Horse Hill?
That's Horse Hill, right. So that's the new kind of format. If you open up in the middle, you can see the whole map laid out.
Isn't that wonderful?
So, and then on the back is detail. So they're all like that now.
That is just beautiful. They do such a nice job, too.
So like there's Greater Woods. I mean,
want these
it looks
lights off?
much better. Yeah, I don't want to, you don't have to do it. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was happy with them, because as soon as we're happy with them, I'm going to start posting them to the website, and then we're going to have to start printing off some. Right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
So,
I only got into Greater Woods today. I didn't really get into the other ones.
yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, that
But
is right.
they look pretty good. I mean, it's,
Yeah, I thought so.
The Town Center Committee has had Sarah do,
Yeah.
well, at least two also. And they're also extremely professional and
Yeah.
informative.
So that's Wasserman Conservation Area next to Wasserman Park. It shows you coming in the road, the parking area, and all the trails through it. It looks much better on your computer than it does on that screen. So that's all I can say. So we also need to think about approving the printing of these, because they have to be printed and cut and folded. They're going to be a little bit more expensive to make than the last ones we've had.
so, being involved with some other town activities, I've used a local company to
Mhm.
do this, and they've been able to every time we've gone in with an unusual, or what we thought was an unusual request, that was always like, oh yeah, that's no big deal, that's easy.
Yeah.
So, if we have some examples of what we want, I can take one and find out what it's gonna cost. I mean,
Yeah, well, I think it's just a matter of sending off the brochures and say, take a look at them. Because they have all the print and cut
Yep.
marks all built into them.
well, it's the thing, I mean, I'd say, like, we want them cut and folded.
We
So
do,
we want 'em-
ideally.
We want them back as a finished product, ready to go,
I think so.
so.
Because if not, you have to have a cutting machine. And a real printer will be set up to, they should be able to automate that.
I would think so.
So,
So do we want me to contact them? And
yeah, so if you could, and then bring it back to the
Sure.
commission, what the cost would be.
absolutely.
So-
Do we have some idea what we want for quantity?
It might be a better deal, right, after a certain quantity?
Oh, yeah.
I would think that there's gonna be, I mean, but
Yeah,
we're gonna have to say, we want a minimum of,
I would ask them to tell us what their price points
give us
are.
the price points, okay?
Because we might order 1,000 for Horse Hill and Greater Woods. Because we'll go through, how many maps do you go through now, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do you think?
I don't have a number.
Yeah, I know on,
Every one we've printed, I've put in the box, and now I have no more to put in the box.
and they're not out on the trails either.
Yeah, right, yeah.
They're not being
sure.
dropped and left behind. I know on Horse Hill, it's got to be, probably printed at least 5,000 over time.
I think Wasserman too is gonna get more interest
I
once
think
we
so,
have
too.
a map up,
Once we have a kiosk to put maps in,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, especially during the summer where people go down towards the water and with the dog park.
People are gradually discovering these properties. You know, some people are not aware that they exist, but more and more people are. So they're getting more
Yeah,
use.
I've been setting up, well, I guess 2 or 3 times during a season at the farmer's market and any like winter carnival or whatever over at Wasserman Park. And we put the big map on an easel, and it's a real magnet.
Sure.
People are very curious, and I'm surprised at how many people say that they have been, and I'm talking about our like river walk, down from the high school, and which is, I think, obscure, but a lot of people have been on it and walked their dogs there.
So we also got the PDFs, we've got the TIFFs, which are printable
Mm-hmm.
for like putting in the kiosks. So we're going to have to quote getting kiosk size maps too. And we also have the publisher versions of them, which allows us to change the wording in the brochure over time. If we want to update a trail description or add some wording to it, then we'll have that option as well.
So the minute we do that, did we put revs, did we put dates on them? Is there a date on there?
I don't,
Yes.
There's a date, there was a date down on one of the corners or something like
Yep.
that we said that's.
April 2017
Right.
is on
So we're
the
gonna,
front of each one.
you're gonna have to make sure, whenever we change it, we rev the date, so we can keep track of what we've
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So, 22 by 40 type thing? What are you thinking of for a kiosk? A big map?
That's big for some of the
Well,
kiosks.
yeah, it depends on the kiosk.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Each property has a number of different sized kiosks, if they have a kiosk at all.
Well, so think of like 11 by 17. If these are printed full to 11 by 17, just the map.
That would be appropriate for the smaller kiosks, like on BB Lane.
what I think would be a good idea is if we could get someone for each property or multiple people for each property to go out and measure what's existing, and let's bring it back for the next meeting. Because we'd want them laminated too at some level, or at least protected.
The kiosks at Greater Woods are 4-bay sheet of plywood, except for the one on Conservation.
And BB, they're small.
Oh, BB's a different one too?
It's
Yeah.
small.
The thing,
Same, smaller.
the thing with lamination too, that I know from, working at the library, is you need to leave at least a 1/4 inch on each side.
Right.
That would all be done professionally. I'm not gonna try to,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, if we're gonna do that, I can get out and get some of the properties. So we don't have to, at this point, we don't have anything for Wasserman, because we haven't put a kiosk in, but we did approve a kiosk, right?
Yes,
Yes.
but
Okay. We haven't built it yet, right?
we haven't built it, and we have not presented it to the Parks and Rec
Parks and Rec.
Subcommittee.
Okay, all right.
I'm getting on their agenda for a future meeting.
So that means we're just talking Greater Woods, Horse Hill, and Wildcat Falls.
I have one question about Greater Woods, and that's the Amherst parking lot. That's in Amherst.
Yeah.
Would they, you know what I'm going to say.
I don't
They
wanna
would probably
talk
want
about it.
dual maps there, one of Amherst and one of Merrimack. Because people who park there are going both ways. A lot of people are going into Merrimack from that parking lot.
Yeah. I don't,
Who did their map, do we know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's there now, Mike? I've been there, but
I think just Amherst has a map, I think. Yeah.
I probably have a picture of it too.
They have a pretty big kiosk.
Yeah, it's a big kiosk in the
I've
corner.
seen that, and for some reason I found it confusing, and it's probably something you're talking about.
It's Amherst, because it's Amherst property, but that parking lot's used a lot for access into Merrimack.
And the only map, the only trail that is on that map in Merrimack does not exist.
So would, like, Amherst let us put a Merrimack map in there?
I believe so.
Yeah,
We have not asked that question, but now that our map includes their property and is accurate, I think they would
Yeah.
like that idea.
How many kiosks are at Horse Hill? Does anyone know?
1, 2,
Four.
3.
Or that I can think of.
Okay, so you've got the Amherst parking lot, you've got the Watonic Bowman's parking lot, you've got the one out in the middle, was that post 11 or something like that, or something?
And then Gerard.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there's a
right.
kiosk on Gerard.
Yeah. So 4. So, yeah, I mean, I can easily get the dimensions for Wildcat Falls. Can't do it tonight because it'll be dark, and I'm not allowed in there when it's dark. But
Leave your headlights up.
I mean, I can get the ones that are obvious. So, like, I can get the Horse Hill, I can get the Amherst Road.
Horse Hill, they're all the same size. All the kiosks are this, well, except the
No.
big one in the Amherst Road parking lot.
right, yeah, the Amherst Road parking lot is one size, and then the
The
others,
other three are,
yeah,
Is Bowman the one that's down by Cindy's house?
yes.
All right, so if I got that one, then that would be the rest. If I got the one on Amherst Street and the one by Cindy's,
Yeah.
then that would cover us for Horse Hill?
If you would you take a snapshot of it too?
Sure.
Just at the front,
Yeah.
because we're gonna have to be conscious of other postings
That's in there too, yeah.
that's in there. So we're gonna have to leave, if we make a big, huge map, that's great, but now we have no place to post other.
Yeah.
I'm also up by the middle school, so I could get the one up there.
Would you mind getting the one on Gerard as well?
They're 4x4.
Yeah, I just have to find it.
Which is off of Palmieri,
Oh, sure.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
There's really
I
not
know
much
what that-
room in a small kiosk if you have, like, hunting season and some other notice.
The middle school ones are 4x4.
But don't get the one on post 11, because I'll
It's
So-
out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, so, but,
that one's very specific and different
Yeah,
because it has the "you are here" X,
yeah.
and then it has some other wording saying, if you're looking to get so-and-so, go this way. If you're
Okay.
looking to get so-and-so, go this way. So
Alright.
that one is a little difficult.
I've got a good picture of it, okay?
Okay.
So
Alright.
we can pull up my picture. I just don't have I didn't take the dimensions.
All right,
Yeah.
so I'll get 3 at Horse Hill,
I believe that's it.
and then I'll get the one in Greater Road at the middle school parking lot.
They're 4x4.
That one's
Yeah.
4x4?
They're 4x4.
All right, do you need a
It's
picture of
half sheet
it?
plywood.
Yeah, but we need to know what the map is in that, though.
Yeah, well, it's just the school map now.
Oh,
So measure okay, so when
So-
I'm measuring, am
but
I
the one-
measuring the
the one-
map or the actual?
I think we'd want to measure the space that we have available, period.
That's what I was gonna do.
And then
All
we
right.
just need to be conscious of what other postings are on there.
that's right. With
The
a, yeah, with
The
a
one by the
picture.
gate at the middle school, we purposely left that kind of sideways so you could use both sides of it. We didn't face it towards the trail, we faced it to the parking lot so you could see you know, we use both sides of it. The one that's going into the classroom its back is up against the woods, so you really don't get the other side. But, I mean, that's, you know, we could clear some of the little brush right there and make it available, but it's not really as noticeable that there'd be stuff on the other side.
All right, so what I'm gonna do then, I'm just gonna get the one at the middle school parking lot that's leading up into the upper playground there. And then if there's another one that's there that needs to be done, I don't know what it is, so.
There's one behind the school going to the classroom.
Someday there'll probably be one by Wilson Hill Road. Greater
Yep.
Woods.
Someday.
Yeah.
Okay. So behind school going to classroom.
That one needs some help too. I gotta go fix it.
All right, I'll try to get, I will get that one too. All right, so I'm getting 5 then. 3 at
Okay.
Horse Hill and 2 at Greater Woods.
Cool, thank you.
Are you getting the school at Greater Woods and where?
I'm getting the one leading to the outdoor classroom and the one in the parking lot that's
Cool.
up the hill. That's on the way up, you know, where
Yeah,
the
by the school.
playground
The
is.
2 by the school you're getting.
Okay. And then if there's something in Amherst or something,
I can
then
get
I'll
the
let
other
you guys
ones.
You
take
get
care
the,
of
well,
that.
I can get, and I can easily get, well, Gina's gonna get the ones by the school, but I can go get the one off conservation pretty easily.
If you go there, you might find that it already has this in it.
My daughter was stopped on the trail, she had a map, and someone was like, "Where did you get that?" She's like, "Nowhere."
All right, so
I
do,
put them all
Only thing,
8 by 10,
8 by 10. Okay.
and it fits. There's this front and back, and the hunting, 2017 hunting, and all 3 fit with very little room to spare, because those are small kiosks.
That's a small kiosk.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a map on BB Lane too.
Yeah, I did them both.
so what date do you want this by?
I wasn't telling anybody something they didn't already know.
I don't know. It's I don't have a real date. I'm just gonna have to put this together though. Can you?
For our next meeting?
Okay.
We'll be
That's
ready
easy.
to order on the Tuesday after our next meeting. Is that what we should kind of plan for?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I like when there's stuff that I actually can do.
Should we invite you in the woods next time we go out?
You can if you want. If there's bugs, I'm gonna be like, bugs. So,
Okay.
in other words, just like, nah.
So for the next 2 months, no.
Well,
Even worse than that.
Matt-
We need till October now.
Matt and Mike remember what happened last time they took me in the woods. So
Okay.
Well, you lose your shoe or
You're
something.
one shoe down.
I threw them both out.
Get sucked by the mud.
Yes.
She got- So you lifted your foot in the shoe, stay behind.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then I walked. What would you say? It was a mile and a half. Because of course I pulled my shoe out of the mud and I stuck my muddy sock back into that
Yeah,
shoe
you were a
and
trooper.
I walked the rest.
That's
walked
right,
the
you
rest
were-
of the way.
You did it.
That's a brave girl.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of other things.
Yeah. Go. Keep going.
So we did we have our quarterly contract with our website, Wendy Weatherby. I asked her in this first quarter to create subcommittee pages of really basic, and that's what she's done for us.
Yay.
It's really basic. They are available now off the properties.
Go down.
The material is dated,
Okay.
okay, because I gave it to her a couple of months ago and things have changed. But the idea here is that subcommittees could put their goals for the year here and they could give me that data and we could update it. If they have any planned events in 17, we could put that all here. Where items of interest that they want to draw attention to. And then this is some of the business stuff below. So it was only a starter page to start generating ideas of what's possible. The thought is that we ask each of the subcommittees to say, here, we started a page for you. What would you like to now have on your page? So that way over the next 6 months or 12 months, we'll start getting data and they'll own something and we'll just facilitate getting it done. So there's one for Horse Hill, one for Gilmore Hill, and one for, the 3 properties that have subcommittees. Wildcat Falls, Greater Woods, and Horse Hill. Properties that don't have subcommittees, we're going to create pages that says, coming. Or if you're interested, let us know. So we can, because eventually we'd like to create subcommittees for Fields Farm and Wasserman Conservation Area, at least, over the next couple of years. I think that would be a good goal.
So, you don't need to live in Merrimack to be on a subcommittee, do you?
You do not.
It's in the charter.
Right. Actually, I think they all support alternates that aren't members of the, aren't residents of the town, alternates,
Okay.
assuming they have alternate positions available.
Okay, because I know a lot of people from outside of Merrimack use the property, so
Yeah.
maybe they'd like to be involved.
Right.
Okay.
But not full, we didn't, our charters that we wrote for them didn't allow full-time members to be non-residents.
I think that's true of all the committees in town.
I'm not sure, Jack. I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. So we did it with our subcommittees because they're totally part of the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
It doesn't involve the town council approving, so the other thing that's got started that we asked for is the gallery. So we're now, Wendy's now putting together a gallery. Okay, it looks kind of small on this page. Let me try and get it to go. I'm going to be in trouble here when I do this. So, but what you can do is you can click on one of them and then arrows will come up and you can start clicking through the pages. This happens to be Horse Hill. So all the pictures we keep getting, we can now start putting into our gallery.
Those are
And
beautiful.
people can go see it. Now, it looks much better online than it does on your own computer than it does up here on the screen, but this was the best widget or app they could include in that seemed to give people, give us the gallery option. So that's what
Great.
we're going to populate with more pictures. So we just wanted to let you know. Right now, that's an example of Horse Hill. There'll be more, other properties will have spots as well, so. But it does require heavy data, so you don't want to do this on your cell phone, so, without a Wi-Fi connection, so.
Is there a mechanism for, I saw the email the subcommittee. Do we have the back for that?
Yeah, so on the subcommittee page, right now, the email the subcommittee goes to their chair.
Which sometimes is not a Merrimack
Correct.
web, I mean a
Typically not
Merrimack web address.
Merrimack.gov, yeah.
Right, it's not, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It exists, but it hasn't been used yet.
sorry,
The
I'm not
email.
following you.
Because that's not a live page yet.
This is on our website, it's just there's no links to it right now, so
Okay.
you'd have to, well, maybe there is a link to it. No, it is, you can find it on the website, it's right there. So if you go to our properties, you go to Greater Woods, you go to subcommittee, email the subcommittee, and it wants to email Mr. M. Karen at merrimacknh.gov.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we might want to see if we can get with Chuck and get some,
Anonymity.
chair at,
Hmm.
Greater Woods chair or something like that, just to,
Yeah, but do we want to, we'll have to talk
and
to,
then we'll just have in the background, just have to change who it gets sent to,
okay. Yeah, the thing is as soon as the chair responds, they'll give away their own email address if that's a concern. Yep, I can get generics.
Just for the chair
Yeah.
person that doesn't have a Merrimack website.
There's 2 of them, actually.
I'm just saying that
just make it chair, 'cause then
example, chairperson who doesn't have a,
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I can do that, so that way it looks generic and it can be moved around by us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool, that looks great.
all right, so that's the website update. And then lastly, if you all recall, there's going to be some invasives work done on Gilmore Hill,
Mm-hmm.
the 20th.
Oh, we have a date for
During
it?
during the day. I'm going to reconfirm, but if people are interested, it's during the day. That's a Tuesday, okay? But if you have an interest, please let me know, or do you want me to just let everyone know when it's going to happen and you guys can decide?
What time?
I don't know
I'm sorry,
yet.
what's the question?
So they're gonna go out on
Yeah.
Gilmore Hill on the 20th.
Right.
I'm gonna confirm the time and the date, because it's been almost 2 months since we got the date. But they wanted to know if we wanted to have people participate. And
People as in from us or from the
from
public?
the commission. They want to keep
It's a
it
Tuesday.
small, tight
Yeah, I'd rather
group.
keep it fairly small.
Right, so
Um,
we're not opening this to the public, so,
Yeah, I mean, if you send the time and date out to all of us,
All right.
that would be great.
I'll let you all know when and where, okay? I'm gonna try and make myself available, at least for part of it. I have an important business meeting that day, but I'll try to work around it, so.
Are they starting in the morning, in the
I
afternoon? Do you
don't know.
No,
I got the
okay.
impression it would be sometime mid-morning, because they're coming up from different places to help do this, so,
Who's spraying?
excuse me?
Who is it? Who's the contractor?
It's done through Chris Kane, the guy that did the initial mappings and all that.
So where would be the meeting spot for Gilmore Hill?
Okay, so let me confirm all that data and get it out, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thanks, Tim.
that's all I got.
Anyone else got any old business?
You're gonna put me on the agenda for next meeting, okay.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I have you for the 19th, but is there any focus? Was this the introduction? What is it?
It's just to let everyone know what I discussed with Paul McCallie. I had met with him a little over a month ago.
Okay.
And I will write up what I'm gonna discuss and get that off for the agenda and to go
Yeah,
into the
just a-
packet.
Just a blurb, so I kind of have a title to it.
Okay, discuss, Friends of the Merrimack Conservation meeting between Gina and Paul McCallie.
Is Paul going to be here?
No.
Okay.
This was essentially what he did was he scared me to death, and now I will share that all with you. Because there's an awful lot of paperwork that goes along with
Oh,
starting a nonprofit.
It's horrendous.
It is horrendous, yes it
An
is.
accountant
Yes, and a
Yep.
lawyer,
and a lawyer, yeah.
yes, and 3 people.
It's expensive to have a
On the-
nonprofit. Yeah, you need to have a board of directors.
Yes, it's very expensive. So,
Paperwork's easy.
yeah, I mean, I was just going to go stand up by Shaw's in shorts and, hold out a bucket. I'm like, yeah, this is good. We can do this. We can raise money. So, no, he's like, no, you even need a permit to do that. I'm like, darn.
Yeah.
So,
It's tough to be a friend.
hmm.
A lot of work to be a friend.
Anyone else coming in? I got one quick thing is we started back up trying to get the bridge work done on across Blood Road or Classroom Bridge, whatever we're going to call it. We haven't really come up with a good name yet.
At Greater Woods.
Greater Woods, going into the classroom. We got the third and last saddle up, so and we've got a plan going forward to make the bridge across. This has been an incredibly difficult task, considering how easy it was when we put those first pipes in. We actually were able to put so much pressure on one the other day. We broke the auger right off the end of the.
Wow.
Wow.
So, Steve and I thought we were pretty strong, so we're all happy with ourselves. We're still pretty mad that we couldn't get the damn put out. We lost an auger down, 4 feet in the ground somewhere. But I've got to go through and look at what we have spent so far, because it's become a project. It's a big project. We're going to need 40 feet of catwalk just to get across the marsh to get to it. We've had a lot of blowdown in that area, so the main trail is closed. We have a good alternative to it, but regardless, even if we cleaned out where the main trail was, you're going to have to build boardwalk or bridge to get across it, because there's so much water coming up out of that trail. So it's going to be a project.
We're trying
This is-
to, yeah, you go ahead.
Good. So Bambi Lane, you familiar with Bambi Lane is? So if you go down to the end of Bambi Lane, there's a cul-de-sac down the end. There's a trail that goes in and goes across Blood Road, across Powell Brook, and up into the classroom. the backside of the classroom.
Really?
Yes. So if you went into the classroom and you walked in,
But where I see that trail go off from
it goes down the hill back towards the neighborhoods.
from Greater Woods, and you're walking along, and there's a path to the right.
Yes.
I never knew
Yeah,
where that went.
that goes down to that brook that leaves
Okay.
the pond, or
Okay.
what used to be the pond, and goes out underneath Babusick Lake Road and into Madison
Yeah, yeah,
Drive.
yeah, that they've
Um,
been working on this week.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's become a big project.
So
What has become the project?
a boardwalk that crosses that water,
Yeah, a bridge and boardwalk.
Okay.
the stream,
Yeah,
and goes out to Bambi Lane.
okay,
So we've pulled out a number of pallets, a number of trees, in the brook, and we've wondered what's going on here. So kids come to school that way.
yeah.
And no matter what we pull out, something else goes back in because
Yeah.
the kids are going to school that way regardless of
Yeah.
what we remove.
Kids and beavers, they never stop.
No. So we're building them a boardwalk. And we have
Great.
been now for 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll,
Matt and I took a trip down to Andover to work with the Andover Conservation Commission. They were putting a bridge in, and they had this neat idea, so we went down there and we saw it. It was like, we went down there and spent, I don't know, a couple hours, put this thing together real quick. We're like, this is perfect, this is great. And then we came up here and tried to drill it into stone, and it just doesn't work.
oh,
The granite
wow.
state's a little bit
Yeah.
different than an Andover, Massachusetts mark.
Yeah. So,
I should say.
so we're making progress, but it's very slow, and I'm under the impression that it's going to become much more expensive once we try to figure out that boardwalk, because it's 42 feet, and it's going to be 42 feet of boardwalk. It's going to have to be basically a little, ground-based bridge.
Is it something similar to what they have at Panema Bog?
It will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take it they don't have ledge there?
No,
Probably not.
no, there's
Bog.
slopes. Theirs is what we're going to end up doing. They
Okay.
didn't use posts.
Okay,
They used sleepers
okay,
and decked on top of it,
okay.
which is what we're going to end up doing for the next 40 feet that we've yet to construct.
We had to get over the stream.
Yeah, I'm nodding, but you're talking carpenter talk, so I'm just nodding.
Sleepers is
Well,
not
I,
attached to anything.
can I
It's
make a
kinda like,
comment?
Please.
Okay.
support that's on the-
First of all, I had happened on that
Okay.
website when I was looking for the Conservation Commission website, and it's really terrific. I was so pleased with it. It's very attractive, and Merrimack Outdoors, I even like the name of it and the leaves and all. So I have to just say how pleased I am. And the other thing is that you guys. And I know that some of the friends are out there too on the trails. Do such a wonderful job, and you're so familiar with the properties. And frankly, your reputation is such that I think Gina feels the same way that I did about the trails. I haven't seen them, but just to see your studied opinions, and you've been out there and you look, and I feel so confident when people like yourselves are out there taking care of our conservation land.
Thank you. My only other comment, Madison Drive, back to Jackie's comments, the beavers are not giving up. They are relentless this year. Lori Bartlett went back there with me, the DPW director, she went back there with me, took the kayak and walked all the way back there, and we spent a couple hours getting rid of some dams, letting the water flow again. It was 4 or 5 days, and the water's back up over a foot. I was out there the Saturday before the Memorial Day weekend there. I was out there at 6:30 in the morning, and they were angry with me. And they were letting me know it. Their little tails slapping and banging. They were still in the process of building for the day. I got almost 2 feet of water out. I mean, it's substantial. It's high, and it's already back up now, almost back up where it was. So we're gonna have to do something else. There's not really any one place to put any kind of pipe in because I take a dam down here and they dam up over there, and I take that one down and then they dam up, it's the ground just goes out, it's too level and flat. So, we're gonna have to come up with some other, I know no one wants to trap, but it worked for like 3-4 years. And maybe that's just the cycle. It's, we deal with it for 3 or 4 years and then trap, and deal with it for 3 or 4 years and then trap. And
We've searched out the other alternatives. and
Yeah,
that's
we've-
what's
we've-
left.
we've had very good luck in town, around town. We've got 5 devices, now 6 devices in town.
But we have one problem area.
And one area that just is not, not really conducive to that method. So the only other option to do out there is construction of the area to generate a channel. And you have to actually now have to start filling in around some of that extra side there, so you don't have the water. And we're just not going to get, we'd never get a permit.
You'd never get permits to
Do
do
it.
it. No, never.
So, I mean, you think about when that neighborhood was built, that whole area was supposed to be called Shawn Acres. So back in the 60s, they didn't even let them fill that. So,
Well, I'd like to see this time have the town
yeah.
manage that activity.
I've
That
already,
was a lot of work for you last time we did it, and for others,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I was gonna ask, this isn't something that you need the Conservation Commission's permission to do. This is something that
Well,
it needs to.
by policy you do,
Oh, okay.
but the town can do it, but the Beaver policy on the town website stipulates that the commission be a part of
Okay.
this, so.
Yeah.
All right.
and we did it last time.
Okay.
I mean, we contracted it, we did it.
Okay.
And it was, it's not a pleasant thing to do.
No, of course not.
And it was, I think we proved that it can work. It's not the best solution, but I'm with him. I would rather have the town be contracting that out instead of us.
And Cindy's not gonna talk to you for weeks.
I know she's not going to talk to me for a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah.
Cindy.
That's Cindy.
Cindy, our missing member, she,
Cindy found a mouse and has been nursing it back to health. Its foot was hurt. She is the sweetest person you will ever meet. I have to ask her how her mouse is doing.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Is this for subcommittee updates?
Yes. Sure.
So, I believe the end of the donut hole property that touches Greater Woods, near our property border, and the trail called Skyline. I believe the logging is done in that area. If you recall, there was a trail that we had closed down because it was a wetland. The trail had become a waterway almost. We ended up closing it down with the DPW contractors that helped us with the closure of the target shooting area.
Mm-hmm.
They had closed that area down with a couple trees and things like that. That entire area has since been cut, and now a new trail exists connecting to a trail that picks up on our property and then continues on into that very wet area across from the View Trail and the Barred Owl wildlife opening. So, I guess,
An ATV trail? Right?
yes, I guess a question that I have is that appropriate? Is that an appropriate area for a gate? Or do we start with signs?
There's still private property there.
Well, okay, first of all, we've pretty much, to me, we've not had any luck with signs because they stand on their bikes to rip the signs off the trees. So we've got pictures of them doing that. So that's not a new issue. We've blocked that off how many times, and they still go back to it. They find a new way back to it. So it's obviously they don't care the fact that we're trying to block it off.
Yeah, and now this time there's a logging road.
Now there's a logging road
To
going
it.
into it. So, putting a gate on it to me seems like, okay, well, it means at some point in time we're gonna open it back up. I would prefer to rocks and boulders and whatever we could find to get pushed out there. I'd even be willing to call it an alpha back to have them come in and move stuff.
So this blockage would happen off of South Greater Road somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should ask if Lori can send a crew out there and with their backhoes and block it up.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Actually, can we get out there with backhoes? No.
No.
Okay.
How close to South Greater is it? Where's it start?
Our property line is a ways. But we would also need to do some work along South Greater. I would say there's quite a bit of work to do out there now after the logging. Our gate, I have no idea if this was related to our logging, but our gate was also damaged, and the lockbox was removed.
It's gone.
Gone.
So vandalized.
Yes. And several of our single track, non-marked, non-motorized trails have now been used. I think 'tis the season of motorized use. So we're seeing a lot of motorized use on non-motorized trails.
Right. So we've been specifically asked to, when we find that, to take pictures and get that down to the town. They want to start keeping track of this.
Okay, I have some great pictures.
Well, we need to start doing it because we've been, this is the path we're supposed to be taking now. So if we've got pictures and dates, then we need to be gathering that on a regular basis and just getting it down.
So, I mean, ideally, we need the towns and the police's help with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to make a
The
mess.
police, from what I can gather, are reluctant to patrol these problem areas because it takes a policeman off of regular duty. And if there's a call that comes in, somebody's deep in the woods patrolling, and they really are loath to do it. And we did, the council discussed it at our retreat last week, actually, and we were going to consider putting another patrolman on, and so that they can patrol more.
So we want them to respond, right? If on infractions, if we have a,
That would be great.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, ideally they'd be out there more, so therefore there'd be a presence.
Exactly, yeah. And we understand that. This is a new concept.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna come to.
Well, we 2 years ago, we paid for them to be out there for the season.
Did you?
We had mixed results because it wasn't very often, because we don't have a lot of money and it's in that, so,
Especially in the form of income, you don't want
right,
to put your.
Yeah, we funded the grant.
yeah.
Mhm. How much was it, out of curiosity?
It was multiple thousands of dollars we paid,
Thousands of dollars, yeah. Okay.
so.
And the town
So-
would never make ATVs illegal in the town. I guess you couldn't do that.
Well, it's not,
It's not-
the people that are doing it are deliberately doing something wrong, okay? They know they're wrong, they're doing something wrong, they claim they're innocent, and they're not all from Merrimack.
Yeah.
It's so easy for people from Amherst to come into that section of Greater Woods that, in the Amherst people don't, the Amherst Conservation Commission in town doesn't stop it. They're running rampant all over their own property. It's against their ordinances, and they don't stop it. And they come right into our property as well.
We have cameras up in that area?
I don't think we have any cameras. The only one that I know of is at the gazebo, the bandstand.
So you know, every now and then, private members of the residents will put up cameras to take pictures for us.
But what good does it do if they're not
It ju-
kept and
it will improve,
result in?
We get pictures of the registrations of the vehicles, if they're registered, or we get.
Has anything happened because of it? Anything positive?
No, those registrations have been delivered to the police,
Yeah.
and we don't see any results.
Yeah, I can see that this is kind of an emerging problem because my feeling on it is that this is town property and we should be caring for it and patrolling it the same as Babusk Lake Road.
Right.
But if people are doing bad things along there, I assume that these are the one and the same that are the sharpshooters, the target practicers. These are
well, I'm not sure they're one and the same.
Yeah.
No, they're not. At least that behavior has calmed down considerably, so.
Yeah, and
That's
the
good.
problem is, I mean, when we took our walk, you can see these ATVs, they run up the roads, and now you've got these big ditches where the water forms in it. I mean, they become, they're fun to ATV on, I'm sure, but for people that are trying to walk or ride a bike or something,
Yeah,
the road is
I've
ruined.
seen them particularly at Greater Woods.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been over at Horse Hill too much. Well,
Yeah, but, I mean, we really do need the town to take a more active role in this.
yeah, I agree with everyone who wants cameras. I think it's a good addition to the town.
Oh.
I haven't heard any philosophical problem with it.
So the thing, Jackie, is if we were to be really diligent about it and take a strong attitude about it, word will get out.
Yes,
It will
I think
stop.
so, yeah.
It will stop.
Yeah.
All it takes is a concerted effort for a short period of time, and then every now and then getting out there just to make sure people know that we're still around,
Yes.
okay? But it takes an effort. Because when you get a registration, you've got to run it. You've got to report it to Fish and Game and say they're doing bad behavior. So the Fish and Game will pull their registration from them.
Mhm.
Maybe prevent them from getting a hunting or a fishing license.
Mhm. And find them?
They could, especially if they go in the wetlands. But we don't see an active participation from the town on this. We don't see the town actively participating with this. We don't see the police department actively participating. We don't see active enforcement.
You mean you don't see it now?
We don't.
You're not talking
Even-
about it in the future?
Right, I'd like to see it in the future,
Mm.
because I think it'll make a big difference. So,
I think that would merit an agenda item.
yeah, because the last time we tried to put it together and hired the police to do it, we didn't quite get the result we wanted.
I'm not sure who we have a new chief, don't we?
Yeah, who's the acting chief?
Well, a temporary one, acting.
Who's acting?
Well, there's going to be two.
Yeah.
There'll be a Dudash first for some period of time. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly, like 2 or 3 months. And then Denise will,
Right. Right?
yeah, will take over for that same amount of time. And hopefully by then there'll be a permanent one hired.
Okay. Well, maybe when there's a permanent one, they would like to be invited to
Well,
speak with us.
So we had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to bring this up with Captain Dudash, and he seemed like he was willing to look into this, but we need to give him the data.
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't dealt with him before on this issue. We've dealt with other members of the department. So
Yeah. Have you, how would you like to see that transpire? Would you like to see him come to one of your meetings first?
I think it's best done in front of one of your meetings.
Okay.
That way your body can make a policy decision, right?
Okay.
Because we truly don't have any enforcement ability.
Right. We're just advisory.
This is, yeah, we're
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we're a volunteer body.
okay.
Right.
I'm gonna talk it over with Eileen and,
Because we'll
Nancy.
come to a meeting, we'll present the case.
okay. Because this, as I said, this isn't a brand-new subject, because we did discuss it last week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, well, welcome. It's my land, too. It's my land, it's your land. But we should be taking care of it, and it's frustrating to see all the gouges.
Oh, the ruts are awful.
Oh.
I was amazed. I mean, I had never really thought about it, and when we went on my shoe sucking journey,
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
It's
that's
like,
a different spot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an upcoming spot.
oh, I'll
Yeah.
be telling my grandchildren about that. So
Do we have any other subcommittee updates?
No.
No? No, other business. Matt, you wanna speak to that real quick, the bike demo?
Sure. So, much like last year, two bike companies have approached me to facilitate a bike demo. So it is a event that is open to the public where you can go and ride a bicycle. Their bicycles, typically very, very nice ones. They just need a place to do it. So they approached me about Horse Hill because of the great new parking lot and quick access to trails. The way they've done it in the past is they put paper arrows on trees in a loop. They typically try to keep a loop in mostly the single track trails, so trails that have less people hiking and horseback riding, and more of the twisty trails that the mountain bikers would like to use. And for that, it's the Blodgett Hill Bypass Trail, down Outer Ledges Trail, and then back around on Loop Trail. And they set the truck up. It's usually 3 or 4 hours, and they typically keep to the back left part of the parking lot as you drive in, back left part. And like I said, it's open to the public. Anybody can go. All you need is a driver's license typically, and they'll provide the bike.
Now, this is 2 separate days, so it's 2 separate companies, or
Two
they
separate
both,
companies.
are they both coming on these 2 days?
One's coming on the
Okay.
20th, and the other's coming on the
25th.
25th. So the 20th is a Tuesday, and the 25th is a Sunday.
are they rain dates?
Nope, if it's raining, they just cancel it, because
Okay.
these trucks drive all over the country, and if it's raining, they just keep driving.
Keep driving. So, what are the typical hours for this?
The Tuesday is 4 p.m. It'll start at 4 p.m. and go till before dark. And then on Sunday, they're planning on setting up at 7 and probably having a lunchtime cookout in the parking lot and wrapping up after lunch.
Okay.
So very similar to last year, the company would post it in the kiosk days prior, so that the public has notice that there's going to be something in the upcoming days.
That's definitely something I'd like to put on the calendar too, just so people know. You know, if a couple of people realize, oh, maybe not the good day to go there, we'll go to Wasserman instead or something else. If they want to go walk.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea, and they're in charge of posting and putting up and taking down the arrows and any leaving it as they found it, so to speak.
Are they doing sales?
Not there, no sales.
Okay.
It's
Because that would open up a whole new door.
yeah, no,
Okay.
they bring demo bikes, just demo bikes that are set up to be ridden. They don't bring any new bikes with them. You can't actually buy a bike from a event.
Is there alcohol at the cookout, or does that matter?
I can't answer
Is there
that
anything?
question.
It would matter because
It's not from them.
against the law.
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not, if someone brings alcohol in the parking lot, we can't really do anything about it.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if they
That's
needed a
public property,
license
they
to
can-
sell it or something.
No,
Well, it's
Not
against the
selling it.
law on
right.
On public property.
owned,
Right.
property. I'm sure there wouldn't be, anything more than is at a softball field.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It might be, maybe illegal, but you see it. All right, anybody else have anything else to add?
So I have no issue with this as long as it's not a commission condoned event. Because that opens up all kinds of issues if the town, a town entity, I'm sorry, I said it wrong, if it was not a commission sponsored event.
No.
Okay.
That's why I was thinking putting it on the thing, I guess for notification to the public that something's going on. But yeah, we're not
Yeah.
It's not, yeah,
sponsoring
it's
it.
not something, we're not paying into this at all. This is just a public, they're just showing up in a public parking lot.
Yeah, typically, the bike company goes, there's a bike shop that sends their employees, and they typically also give those employees the same amount of pay as if they were working in the shop, and then we get those same amount of hours in trail work out of the employees at a future date.
No.
So typically, we make out in the form of
Labor.
paid labor to clean up our trails.
Yeah.
So it's usually a good event, but provided we don't have a problem with this, I'll notify the subcommittee that these two dates are, because last year the subcommittee wanted to be notified of these events.
Cindy's been sending them the agenda when it comes out too, so they should have at least seen the fact that it's on here. Good.
Yeah, it'd be good to send it though.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
good relations. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything? We want to go over the minutes?
I did not get a chance to review them, but that doesn't mean we can't go over them.
You good? Everyone's good with Gina? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Merrimack Conservation Commission meeting minutes of May 15th, 2017, with changes as follows.
Second.
Okay.
All right, so on page 1, line 47, replace member with commissioner.
Line 47?
I'm sorry,
46.
did I say
46.
46?
Sorry.
46. On page 2. It's not really wrong, but my suggestion would be on line 1 to add Brian in front of Keen, just so that the name is consistent, because everywhere else she has Mr. Keen. On page 2, line 16, had me running to my dictionary to see what a purse was, and it should be per se. So add a space between per and se. On line, also on page 2, line 19, Chairman Perry questioned if they would be taking over the entirety of add the word building. That's my suggestion.
Yep.
On page 3, line 6, the word is sloughed. My dictionary spelled it differently, but the internet says that's okay too. So
yeah.
I'll leave it up to you guys.
That's
There's
how I've
a-
always spelled it, so how did you see it spelled? How else do you see it spelled?
O-U-G-H.
Oh,
Oh.
I spell it S-L-O-U-G-H-E-D. So the dictionary that I has does not acknowledge S-L-U-F-F, but the internet says it's okay. So we'll leave it either way. Also on page 3, line 11, well, from the previous line, it says that was completed and the resulted received. I would say the results received the prior weekend. On page 4, line 32, I'm not sure if Jackie abstained from voting on that, but there were 6 of us there. So right now, it says motion carried 5-0-0. So Jackie, you don't remember if you voted under...
What is this for?
This
What
was
line?
a motion to authorize the chairman to sign off on a wetlands permit with a comment to NHDES that states the desire of the commission for work to hold off until the vernal pool is completed. But see, on here, there were 6 of us there, so I'm not sure if you just abstained because that was your first meeting. So,
We could ask her to check
No.
the tape.
It passed 6-0-0.
Yeah,
oh, it
okay.
passed 6-0-0?
Yep.
Okay, so we want to replace 5 with 6.
Oh, okay.
All right. Also on page 4, line 39, it probably is what was said, but aren't pines and spruce a softwood, not a hardwood?
What
Or is it just what was said?
Oh, because example,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what line are you on?
The sentences, if you request, we were talking about the seedlings.
Yeah,
and
but
it says,
what line number?
it's line 39.
Oh,
It
okay.
says if you requests have come in for some of the hardwoods, e.g. pine, spruce. But pines and spruce are softwoods.
that's true.
I was probably supposed to be and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So replace e.g. with and. A&D.
Hmm.
My dictionary got a workout this time.
You are a good proofreader.
I try. I finally realized I need to get the agenda from the from the meeting before so that I can check all the lot numbers and everything now. So I'm getting good. Why are you laughing?
I am
Isn't that
not.
what we're supposed to do?
You are awesome.
You are.
trying.
I am not
I'm
laughing at.
I value your contribution to the
Yeah,
commission.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I'm not walking through the woods in these sneakers now. I paid a lot of money for these sneakers. They are not going in the muck. All right, and that's all I have.
All right. Does anyone else have any comments, questions, clarifications? All right. All those in favor is the minutes as amended? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Abstain.
Abstain? All right, so that passes 5-0-1. One with Matt abstaining. Okay. I do not see any members of the public. Any commissioner comments? Jackie? Nothing?
I think we have a heron nest off of, in back of our neighborhood. So it would be, you know that big like swamp and bog off of Continental by Tinker Road? I saw a heron fly into the tree and just kind of hang there.
Wow.
So I think a heron's nesting there. I'm excited about that.
Thank you. Good, good.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Hmm.
Mike?
No
No?
comment?
Matt? Anything?
I'm good. No?
You know, the only comment is when I was on Horse Hill, there's an awful lot of water moving around out there right now.
Awful
Yeah.
lot of what?
Water. I
Water.
mean, we've had a lot of rain over the
Yeah.
month of May going into June, and there's just still an awful lot of water out
Yeah.
there. It's done an awful lot of work, too.
Yeah.
So, not for the better,
Mm.
but
Thanks
Okay.
for the warning. I'm not wearing my sneakers in there.
Saw a river otter again a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Quite a few out.
Bunch of turkey chicks.
yeah.
Little, like this big.
Did you get pictures?
No.
It's great to see the otters back over there, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I thought they were gone, but then I saw one.
So cute.
Where was it that you saw?
I saw it in the BB Lane cul-de-sac pond.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They hang out at the dam, at the Beaver Dam.
Do they?
You jump off the dam.
Diving
I'd like
in.
to see that. We have some at Babuzik Lake, but I haven't seen one for a long time.
All right.
Just real quick, speaking of critters, there was a picture of a mink taken up at Wildcat Falls, and in that area, for anybody that has chickens, one of my friends lost her entire flock. It crawled under, it
Yep.
went underneath. So, I mean, the first time around it took about, I don't know, 7 or 8, maybe 9.
Wow.
And she wasn't sure if that was a fisher cat or not, but then it tunneled under and it took the remaining flock, like 9 chickens. So
They have the same
Don't blame
problem.
them. I like chickens too.
Tastes like chicken.
it didn't eat them though. It
No, it doesn't.
basically
It-
rips their faces off.
It just
Oh.
mauls them. And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just for the heck of it?
Well, she thinks what was happening was something came in and was trying to teach its kits how to hunt. But that's what they do, because in the old days when there were garbage pails, remember that? I remember watching, because we had the garbage pail and the mama raccoon would push down and teach the babies how to go in and get the food. And if the babies tried to go in and didn't do it themselves, she'd slap them. So we'd sit there and we'd watch them because we had the spotlights on. That's what they do. They teach them. They're smart, these critters.
Yeah, we had the same thing happening on the end of Lawrence Road there. They had
Chickens?
yeah, she's lost a whole bunch of
The
chickens.
whole flock, yeah.
And it was to a mink. She saw it.
It was to a what?
A mink.
It was to the mink,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So if you have chickens at home, batten down your hatches. Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. Motion by Matt, second by Mike. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0 at 8:40.
Public meeting next meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
Graduation day was supposed to be June 10th, and then they moved it to the 17th, which is also her dance recital. So she will literally take her diploma, walk off the field, and she'll be getting her makeup and her hair done. And we have to be in Groton with her ready to go on stage at 1 o'clock. Wow.
Yeah, you saw my email. I won't be at the
You know what?
closing.
saw it.
She has had so much stress and she
We can get together at some point.
Yes, like, I saw her high school sweetie, she has that stress.
Where's she going next year?
WPI, she's very excited.
Oh, our grandson went there.
Yeah, she's right now, she's looking into renewable energy, that's what she's interested in, but she's also kind of interested in biomedical. She wants to do, but she's excited.
Thank you.